The sport of off-road racing is full of incredible stories, wild characters, legends, and even villains. We cover it all on offroadracer.com, but there's only so much we can put down in an article. Sometimes we have to dig a little deeper, and that means sitting down with some of our industry's most influential characters and hitting record. Welcome to the Off-Road Racer Podcast, a Mad Media production, made exclusively for offroadracer.com. Each month, we'll go beyond the dirt into the homes, shops, and lives of the most interesting and game-changing icons of our sport. You'll hear about their history, success, failure, and everything in between as we pull back the curtain and reveal the stories of their lives. I'm your host, Matt Martelli, and this is the Off-Road Racer Podcast.
All right, Jim Beaver with my brother from another, Matt Martelli, with the Jim Beaver Show and Off-Road Racer Podcast. Joined in the booth by a little bit of a celebrity around SEMA parts, Lacey Blair. How's everything going?
Good. How are you guys? It's been an awesome SEMA so far.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody's talked about this SEMA, and it's like I guess they broke attendance numbers or something like that.
Really?
But it's like, I guess post-COVID, they're like, SEMA's finally back to where it was pre-COVID numbers.
Thank God.
Yeah. I hate even mentioning COVID because I'm like it's a whole other story. But
we pretend like it doesn't even exist.
It's done.
No, didn't happen.
It's officially done. No, it's good. It's really good to see everybody out and back to business and want to shake hands and, you know, all that type of stuff. So
Definitely.
Yeah, it seems an awesome show. So obviously you have a car behind us that you built.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so this was, so my boyfriend's business, BCC, and then I have LB Motorsports, complete all together. Here we are in the Rigid booth. We have 7 builds that are Rigid equipped, and this is one of them. So I didn't get to be a huge part of this one because I was cranking on my own builds, but I think it turned out pretty awesome. We've got 2 Rangers that are built like this with the huge high lifter lift kits, the huge tires, and yeah, they turned out really good, both Rigid equipped.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then are these for customers? Or
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. And I'm assuming these people are like somewhere where they can mud because that's a serious mud setup.
Yes, definitely. And I think they're going to take them to some shows too, so.
Nice.
Definitely not the desert setup that maybe you guys are used to though, right?
No, but you know, it's funny because Scott, who founded High Lifter, invited me out, and I went out and did some mudding, and I didn't think I was going to have fun.
So fun.
But it was a lot of fun.
Scott and Rachel are just awesome. I camped with them, was it a year and a half ago? We were in San Hollow and spent a week with them just in the same camp. And I'd known of them, and we'd known each other, but never spent real time with them. And we spent a week together. It was the most fun week. Like, it was they're just rad.
I love San Hollow, too.
Yeah.
That's an awesome place.
San Hollow is a good time. Well, we were just talking, like I was talking with somebody earlier, and I go, all the stuff happening at Moab, I was like, I think San Hollow is going to continue to just blow up.
Definitely.
So. Well, for sure, but hold on a second.
Spot.
We're not going to let that lie.
No,
all the closures in Moab.
No.
Like it's going to be interesting because I think they picked a fight with a group of people that are more resilient than they understand, right? So we'll see where we're at in a year, right?
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about your year so far, because I interviewed you back in the spring, I think we talked. And,
a lot has went on since then.
Well, yeah, because you ended up living in Hollywood or SoCal for I don't know how long, because I know at one point it was when we had the show at the Whiskey A Go-Go, and I texted you, and you were like just leaving town as we had the show at the Whiskey or something.
Yes.
But so you did a TV show, moved to SoCal for like literally half a year almost,
yeah,
right?
It was like about 6 months or so. Yeah. I'm not a big California fan as far as Los Angeles goes, you know.
Well, let's be fair. Okay, so
that's not the whole state, right?
We have 2 problems in California: San Francisco and LA. Outside of that, it's a great state.
It really is. I know once I kind of like got to venture out, didn't have too much time, but even just driving through the desert, I'm like, this is great out here, but I'm not a big city person. But
no, neither.
Filming the show is awesome.
Yeah, I'm down in San Diego by the beach in Oceanside.
Oh, that's nice.
It's great.
I have some friends down there.
So
it's like there's 2 halves to Southern California. There's the San Diego half and the LA half. You know, it's like.
Yeah. Well, so tell us about the show. What were you doing?
Yeah, so it's a car building show. I can't say the name of it still yet. I know I couldn't when I talked to you either.
Well, you couldn't even say you were on a show then. So now at least,
I couldn't.
yeah,
I still can't say the network, unfortunately. I wish they would tell us when we're allowed to do that. But it's a streaming network. I mean, do without what you will, the biggest one. So, and it should be out in May of this year.
Awesome.
Yeah. So normally it was kind of new for me because typically I'm like strictly trucks, big side-by-sides, 4x4s, stuff like that. This was cars for the most part.
Interesting.
So it was different. It was really cool.
That'll be cool to see that come out.
Yeah, and all of my like co-stars, I guess if you want to call them, they're all but one are here at SEMA, and we've all got work here at SEMA, so it's pretty cool. And to like reunite with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so where are you at now? Where are you living now?
Back in Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep,
Cool.
that's home base.
Yeah. How has the move to Texas been? Because I mean, you were in Utah for the longest time,
Missouri,
and then you just literally we talked about Missouri on my show and kind of like your background.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, how you loving Texas?
I love Texas. I feel like that'll be home forever.
Yeah.
And where in Texas are you?
Like Fort Worth area, kind of like a small town out of Fort Worth.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been to the Dallas area a ton, and I've never really got to explore. And I was there with General Tire for 3 or 4 days for an athlete summit, and we had basically it was a scavenger hunt, and we were tied in with Gas Monkey Garage because they're tied in with General Tire, and so Richard Rawlings set up the scavenger hunt, and for an entire day we just drove around Dallas and to these random spots and tourist things. So I got to see every tourist trap in Dallas because of this thing, but it was amazing. I got to see parts of Dallas that I'd never seen. I was like, I loved Dallas before this.
Really
I'm like,
cool.
but I really love the area now even more.
That's awesome. I still haven't got to explore much out there. I'm not going to lie. Fort Worth stockyards are a must if you've never been there.
No.
So neat. That's like the ultimate Texas experience.
Right?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
It's pretty central for the most part. That's what I like because I travel a lot, just fly right out of DFW and be anywhere kind of around the same time.
East Coast, West Coast, not a big trek. Yeah, it's
exactly.
like I fly to East Coast and it's like 5-hour flight.
Right.
Racing against your dad is something that 90% of the racers in the world will never get.
I've accomplished everything I wanted to do, and now he's just taking the reins. I want to be remembered for being a huge part of short course, not just racing, keeping it alive, helping it grow. If it comes down to the last weekend and I'm in it, the boys better watch out.
So, out of the vehicles that you've built, do you have one that was your favorite build?
Well, I have a favorite here this year at SEMA. I feel like they're all my favorite in a certain way. But I have one that's outside the Fusion booth that has rigid lights as well. But it's on an 18-inch Elevate lift kit, massive 44 Interco tires, 28 JTXs. It's a big truck. So that's my favorite right now.
So, obviously Zach's got his shop. You've got LB Motorsports. I mean, I like I told you, I'm addicted to your powder coating videos just because it's like this literally gratifying time sink that I get to watch.
With the two-tone.
Yeah, but out of your shop, what are you doing? I mean, obviously we know you're doing powder coating. What are you doing, full builds, or is it just mainly powder coating and
full
stuff?
Full builds, mainly content builds. So I used to take on customers and stuff like that, but now we just kind of do our personal stuff or companies builds. We did one for eBay Motors last year and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're the fun shop.
Yeah.
So do you have builds kind of on your list that you want to do?
Yes, but I feel like it's ever evolving.
Yeah.
I could plan something and then next week it's going to change. So I don't know. Right now I have a burnout truck in the Hoonigan Burnyard that I've been driving this weekend. But it's a little too nice. I want something that I can tear up. So I think another burnout truck is on the list for sure.
And what is the style of the truck? Is it
it's a little Dodge D150, first-gen Dodge. It's cream and brown, super clean. But I want something that I can blow the bed sides off and not feel bad about it.
Right.
So it's funny with builds. I've got, and I feel like builds are one of those things. I'm to a point where now I'm doing 1 to 2 builds a year on stuff, and it's my partners, that's what they expect now. It's what's Jim going to build? What's next? And it's I used to just have something and I'd go out and film content. Now it's become this whole build thing. So now I've got literally a list of 5 different vehicles that I want to build, but they're weird things from the 90s and things like that. So they're hard to find. So it's I don't know. I have a bucket list of builds, and I don't know which one's going to be first. It's what car can I find first?
That's so true.
Because sourcing this stuff, it's one of them's a Lincoln LS,
Ooh.
but it's the one that had the stick shift. And people don't realize in a Lincoln LS, they had a stick shift for 2 years, and they only made 2,000 of them because the take
that's
rate
hard.
on a $50,000 Lincoln was nothing on it. So it's like finding a Lincoln LS with a stick. So if you're tuning in and you got a Lincoln LS with a stick, hit me up. I want to buy one.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
but it's like weird stuff like that. You know what I mean? That I've got this list of builds, and people, so it's like I don't know what's going to be next.
Right.
It's like whatever I can find.
Right, exactly.
See, my problem is we're in the off-road business, right? So we have trophy truck builders, right?
Yeah.
And I'm friends with all of them, and I know what they can do. So in my head, I'm designing stuff that, one, I can't really afford to build, like, to be honest. But two, like, it all comes back to a trophy truck. It's like, street legal trophy truck, right? So we'll see. It'll be interesting.
That would be awesome. Yeah, and then you come to stuff like this, and you get new ideas. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, man, this is always expensive because then you just have a new list of things you want to build.
Yeah.
Well, it's the cool thing is, and you're probably like me. Obviously, we've got some amazing partners to help with builds and things like that. So it really absorbs a lot of the cost. But generally, unless you're working with an auto manufacturer, you've got the upfront cost of the vehicle and things like that. It's like, but once you get one done, it's like you can start flipping them and then like build another
Right.
one. But have you been stuck with one where you're like, I don't want to get rid of this one, but I have to?
Almost all of them. I tell all my guys all the time, I'm like, man, we could really use a Peterbilt, right? To like haul stuff or this and that. And I'm like, I just can't afford one. They're like, well, you could if you sold a couple trucks.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing that. So I'm kind of attached to everything, but we'll see. The collection is growing. Every now and then I'll get rid of one. Yeah. But I need to get in the flipping mindset because that's the way to be.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, too, who'd want to buy one of those builds from you.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And I've sold a couple, and it's pretty cool,
Yeah.
actually. And, like, people that truly appreciate them and, like, have followed the build process, like, that's really awesome.
So she's got a cool story, and I don't know if you're up to speed. We talked about it when I had her on the show in the spring, but she had, a massive, 400,000 people on Instagram following you. She lost her account.
Yeah, I
she
did.
got hacked, and the Instagram couldn't get back.
Yeah.
She needed to grow an account, so she gave a Hummer away on Instagram to get followers.
So I
And-
gave another vehicle away.
Oh,
since
did
then.
you?
Yeah. So that's kind of the business model that I'm going for now. We just did a 1989 Cummins swap Suburban on huge 44-inch Interco tires, big lift, 20 inches in the air, hood stack, roll some coal out of it, all that stuff. That thing, it's pretty epic. So I don't know the winner yet. It ended the 27th, so I should find out within the next week or so, and we'll announce that, and I'm really excited. So I don't know what the next one will be. But.
Did that giveaway then grow your followers?
Yeah, so the whole thing is so I've always had the merchandise business, of course, but trying to grow that and grow the followers with that and everything. Yeah.
That's rad.
That make the whole business model kind of give back to our people that support us too.
No,
It's
that's
been really
huge.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, she goes from 400,000 to zero, and now you're back up to 120,000?
150.
150 now?
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah, super cool.
The thing is, people like you who hustle their ass off, I really respect.
Well, thanks.
And I
appreciate
enjoy seeing it because, obviously, the whole social media world, there's a lot of fake
right.
people on there.
It's hard to fake it for as long as I would have faked it. For
Yeah.
sure.
and that don't really do anything,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, yo, I'm an influencer. I'm like, yeah, you really
What do you
Yeah.
influence?
Right. That's a hard title, I feel like.
I
Yeah.
hate that.
I hate it too, but then it's I like content creator.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Or I say I do social media marketing, which is essentially what we all do for the most part.
Sure.
Yeah, influencer is a hard one. I feel like that just came about recently.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a job title now, I guess.
Right.
It's funny though, but you get down a rabbit hole. It's because I work with brands on the marketing side, and I'm a content creator, racer, whatever. But I can, because I consult for brands, I see all sides, and it's when you start using that term influencer, they want to go, all right, so that person's an influencer. Are they influencing purchase decisions? And there's a lot of people in our industry, they can get numbers, but people aren't buying products.
Yeah.
Because, just because you have 100,000 views doesn't mean 100,000 people are going to buy a product. So finding somebody like you who uses a product, take JTX, for instance. There are people that have gone out and bought JTX Forge wheels because
Right.
you use JTX. You're influencing product, buying decisions. It's like finding somebody that can do that's hard. So people say they're an influencer, but I'm like, are you really? Are you really driving traffic?
Right. That is so true. It's I guess they look at engagement, but it's hard to gauge by a number how connected your followers are to you and how much they trust you, I guess,
I mean, it all comes back to authenticity.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like if somebody's selling an automotive product, you would be a perfect fit, right? But if they're selling, I don't know, cookware, you might
Right,
not be
exactly.
the right
Like,
fit.
I don't know if I trust Lacey's cookware decisions. Yeah, exactly.
But no, and what's cool is I've started to see people who are influencers make and sell their own products, right?
Yeah.
And that's a pretty cool evolution.
It's so cool to see. I love that evolution. It's so interesting to me. Even, just a couple years ago, like social media marketing, I feel like wasn't looked at as seriously as it is even like here today at SEMA. Probably, pre-2020. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
really
social media has
interesting.
taken on this whole new life form, and honestly,
Yeah.
you go back to the pandemic, but it was like, I personally hate vertical video. I'm a video guy,
Yeah.
so it's like I love things in horizontal, but like the whole vertical video, TikTok, Reels, it's like it's changed social media, and I don't know if it's for the good or the
Right.
bad at this point, but it's like it's changed the way all of us approach it. I mean, you guys have one of the most powerhouse media companies in the country when it comes to automotive creation.
I hate verticals.
And now you guys are filming stuff in vertical. And I laugh. I'm like, here's Mad Media shooting with red, and trimming it down for a
Oh,
vertical. And I'm
really?
like, it's crazy to me that we're at
But,
that point.
the way I look at it, though, is like that's just like chumming the waters to get people to look at the long form stuff.
Right.
So, and we're all fighting for people's attention, and that's just, part of the process.
Yeah. It's ever evolving.
So
Always have
let's talk a little bit because, like, you talk about things like you got your apparel side of things, and that's something that kind of came out of nothing, right?
Yeah, like I told you, it was just like, we would wear our shop shirts with my logo on them, and a couple people, local were like, how do I get one of those? And then our followers on Instagram or YouTube started to be like, how can I get one of those? And I'm like, I'll just start a Shopify, see what happens, do like maybe 20, 50 shirts at a time, and it's just kind of grown from there. And then now, like I said, that's how I'm able to give the vehicles away, so.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I never would have dreamed. That was kind of an accident.
It's just funny, like, all of us, like, yourself, me, it's like we all have these, I call them, like, to make it in this industry, you can't just have one thing you do. You've got to have all these little micro profit centers.
Definitely.
It's like, all right, I'm going to make a little money here with some endorsements. I'm going to sell some apparel. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have some brands that, pay me to do a build. It's like we have to have 4 or 5 profit centers. You can't just do one.
Right.
It's like if you were just to sell apparel, like none of the other stuff would work and nobody'd buy your apparel. So it's like you have to have all these things. It's like this small ecosystem that content creators have to make a living,
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
and for us, like, a lot of the stuff that we've done, like we do merch as well via Dirt Co., was just because in our space in off-road racing, one, and the stuff that existed was terrible.
Right.
We weren't going to wear it. And two, there was just not a good offering. So, I think it is the case that, people who follow you, want to buy merchandise with your name, with your brand on it.
Still so crazy. to me.
And it's definitely, a powerful tool. I mean, really, when you start distilling down all these brands that have become popular, let's go to Nike. It's like, look at all the athletes that they had on Nike to get it where it's at, right? That's that cumulative result, right?
Right.
But if each one of those athletes had their own brand, it might be a totally different deal.
Oh, that's interesting to think
Right?
about, actually. That is so true.
I don't know. It's
Wow.
a different world. Like, and it's
Yeah.
funny because I look at what I was doing 12 years ago when I started and what I'm doing now, and it's like, it's all evolved. It's just you have to be very fluid in this industry, I think.
Right. Ever evolving, for sure.
Well, and how about you? I mean, obviously, you kind of got your following originally in, the big truck market, and obviously that's what you're still known for. But now you've kind of started branching out into a lot of other stuff. How's that been? Because it's
Yeah.
like people know you like originally with Diesel Brothers, you were the big truck girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and you still do that. You're very well known in that space.
Right.
But it's like now we're seeing Lacey, like you said, burnout trucks, all this other
Yes.
stuff. So how's it been for you to like, you've kind of moved and like now you've got these different followings in these different areas?
Yeah, it's so fun. I feel like I'm still kind of growing my following in those areas, but I think ultimately that's the goal, is to branch out, and obviously the following's going to grow and connect with more people, but I'm just having fun now. Like the performance side of stuff I've never really been a part of, and finally doing that, like I'm trying to get into some drag racing and, like you said, the burnout trucks and things like that. it's really fun. So
That's what it's about.
yeah, just
Yeah.
growing.
Don't sit still. And
exactly.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Like Matt and I were talking. It's like I love SEMA because I'm an off-road guy. You know what I mean? And I consider the big trucks stuff. It's all collectively a part of off-road.
Right.
There's lots
Even
of
if
stuff.
they're mall crawlers.
Yeah, it's but I can appreciate it even if I don't own one. It's not that I appreciate the build. I appreciate the the people. I've got friends and like you that are on that side of things. But we're all collectively off road. But I'm like, I love being able to go to an NHRA event and see and hot rod events and classic cars. It's like there's so many cool. Just because I don't have one of those, it doesn't mean I don't have an appreciation for that.
Right.
And it's like when you get to a point where you can go and like experience all the other ones, it's like it's really awesome.
And it's so cool because you all can connect on some level. Like we all share we have a common ground we have a passion for vehicles, custom, fast, loud. Like we all share that common ground. So it's really cool to like connect with different people.
Yeah, I love seeing all the different styles. I mean, even the stuff that I look at, I'm like, that's completely not my style. I still look at it and appreciate it and sometimes get, different influences.
Definitely.
Like you and I did a project together that was pretty disco, right? And that was outside of our normal kind of like, everything is flat black world, right?
Did some wild colors.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw my Kawasaki, my Electra build. I called it Electra. It was like it was a supercharged Kawasaki KRX.
That's cool.
And we went full like neon 90s retro, and
That's
it's
my
like
vibe.
lit up like underglows like green. It's all these metallic purples and greens, and
That
like
is
it's
cool.
just this wild like.
It came out cool.
And everybody saw that, and they're like, we didn't think you would ever do something
Right,
like
you
that.
gotta
I'm like,
surprise them every now and then.
it was super fun. Like, so Jim calls me up and says, hey, we
Yeah.
need to do something totally 80s for this reveal video. So we got the fog machine out, we got the lasers out, and, we shot it out in Parker, and it came out really cool.
That is epic. I'm going to have to. Yes, I want to see this. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's my style for sure.
Yeah,
I
so
like wild.
Yeah, wait till you see like the old, like the overview of the whole car. It's like, but this was a project that, this was one of my
that
builds.
looks so good. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
but like
so
steering
cool.
wheel, like everything was just,
Electra.
I just called it, it was kind of the name of the project. So.
That is awesome. Beautiful. I love
Yeah,
it.
so, it was kind of out of the box for me, but
Yeah.
I've started branching out. All my stuff's kind of weird colors
Yeah.
now and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
it's like you almost have to, right? It's nice to have everything matching and have a brand where people are like, oh, that's definitely Jim's, but you got to surprise them and mix it up every now and
It's
then.
like I've got a Bronco Raptor build that I'm knee deep in right now, and it should be done in the next couple of weeks. And it's kind of one of those two people are going to look at it and be like, yeah, we didn't see that one coming.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. I think that's what's fun about doing builds, though. Like it's like you get to take your creative side. It's like I think we're all creatives. Matt, with the media side and, podcast, video, it's all creative, but it's like with builds, it's like you get to infuse your personality into something. And it's like, to me, it's an outlet because there's a blank canvas. Yeah, it's a vehicle, and I'm going to see it different than Lacey's going to see it than Matt is. And like, if you give all three of us the same exact vehicle and say, here's 50 grand or 100 grand and here's, 2 months, we're all going to come back with something completely different. And that's what I
what's
love
so
about
cool.
automotive is just, it's a canvas and we're all creative and we all get to come up with something different.
Yeah. That's what's so cool about it. And it's so nice to see the vision you have in your head come to life,
100%.
Really cool.
Yeah. So, I don't know what else. What have you been doing this show? Obviously, you got some builds in. What are you out here
Yeah,
doing?
been
Some
a little
burnouts.
bit of everywhere. Yeah, the burnout pit, like I said, that's new for me. That's new for us. So that's been my favorite part. That was my favorite part last year. I'm not gonna lie. Just being a spectator, and then this year being a part of it is really cool. And we've got SEMA Fest. I'm gonna be driving in that. So that'll be cool.
I think we need to drag you out to an off-road race. Like,
Let's
get you
do
behind
it.
the wheel.
I'm in.
100%. Let's
That
do
would
it.
be awesome. I love any kind of driving, just not like stunt driving.
Yeah, we've got what I mean. We've been talking to so many people. It's like I feel like we've got a celebrity car now lined up at the Mint. We get like
We got a couple, I think.
yeah, we got a couple celebrity
Yeah.
cars lined up at
Need
the
to
Mint.
get
So,
more.
yeah, we need to make something happen. It'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I'm definitely in.
Awesome.
So.
I'm not scared to drive anything.
So what's next for you guys? Obviously, we're here at SEMA. This is kind of the big one.
Yeah.
What heading into next year? What's going on for Lacey Blair?
Next year, man, I don't know. Maybe filming a second season of that
Okay.
show. We were just
The one
talking
we
about
can't
it
talk
yesterday.
about the
Yeah,
first
the one
one?
we can't talk about, right? Just going into show season next year, hoping to get more into drag racing and things like that. Man, I don't even know what I'm doing next week. Is that bad?
Yeah. I was going to say, what for you right out of the box? Well, I guess it's in February, but Lone Star Throwdown.
I was going to say Lone Star Throwdown. That's the big one for sure coming up in February. So we'll be gearing up for that.
So in the big lifted truck market, that's kind of like the SEMA, right?
That pretty close. Yeah, that's one of them. That's what I would say one of the top 4 for sure.
At least that's in your backyard. You don't have to go far for that one.
It's so nice. And it's a little mixture of everything.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to go this year. Damon Flippo's been telling me, you got to come. So I think I'm going to come out and hang out. I haven't ever been, and it's like I feel like I've heard it's not just big trucks. It's like a mix of everything at this point.
That's what I really love about it, is it's a little bit of everybody. And a lot of the lowered classic trucks, too, that I love to look at. So
that's why I was like, I need to bring one of my builds out, just throw a little West Coast infusion into Lone Star Throwdown, just so people are like, what is this?
Yeah, no, people would appreciate it for sure. They love to see everything out there.
So, I don't know. How do you feel about Texas in February, Matt?
I'm in. Let's do it.
It's still kind of cold, I'm not going to lie, but...
Oh, what was it? Like a year or two ago, Dallas got like that crazy blizzard. I'm like, Dallas is the weirdest city. Like,
it was wild. Yeah, a lot of people couldn't even come to the show, and we had trucks trying to slide off of trailers and everything else, but we made it, but it was miserable. We had like a fire in the pit and just trying to make it, but it wasn't a good turnout that year.
Yeah. Dallas, I love like Supercross. I've got a great relationship with the people at Supercross. I'm trying to go out to at least 1 or 2 rounds a year. Dallas is the one I always love to go to. One, I just love the city of Dallas, but 2, it's like right there where they've got the Cowboy Stadium where Supercross is. They've got the Lowe's Hotel there. It's like this cool entertainment district. You can come in, and it's like it's an awesome place to go in the spring. It's like it's not cold, but it's not hot. It's just like, and that, I don't know, Dallas, I've fallen in love with it just for the last couple of years, being able to go to that Supercross round. It's become kind of like my, I don't know. Every spring I go, it's just kind of one of those things where I just mark my calendar. I'm like, yep, going to Dallas.
There you go. You have to let me know next time you're in town.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
yeah, I've got Natalie and Jonathan, Natalie Eva Marie. She's a good friend of mine, and they just moved to Dallas from California a year ago. Steve Torrance is like an hour away. Kilgore, Texas.
Yeah, that's not far from me. That's what I really like about that area. It's kind of a lot of people are there, but it's also like a hub for, like I said, the airport. People come through, and you can grab them and do some content, do some podcasts and things like that. So it's a good place to live, I think.
It's funny. I look at the map and I go, where are places I could conceivably see myself living? And Dallas is one of them.
Hey,
I say Texas. So, yeah. I don't know. I like Arizona pretty good though. So
Arizona, I do like Arizona too.
Yeah. California, I don't know how you do it, Matt. Like, actually, where you're at, I could do on the beach. Past that, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm a lifer. I'm going to stay and fight.
Well, it's good catching up, Lacey. Awesome to have you stop by. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to talk about dragging you out to an off-road race.
Let's do it. I'm all about that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you guys. You have a good rest of your day.